Your mechanic shows you a filthy air filter and says it needs immediate replacement. But what if that filter isn't even from your car? This happens more often than you think, and it's just one of the deceptive tactics used to get you to spend money unnecessarily. In this video, we're walking you through 6 mechanic scams that cost American drivers billions every year. We'll give you the exact questions to ask and steps to take so you never become a victim. But before we begin, hit that subscribe button to outsmart shady shops. Your wallet will thank you. Number 1. The urgent fluid flush scam. Your mechanic holds up a sample of dark transmission fluid and tells you it needs an immediate flush. They say it's dangerously dirty and could damage your car. But here's the thing, most transmission fluids are designed to last 50 to 100,000 miles. The dark color doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. All used fluid darkens over time, and that's normal. Shops often recommend flushes at 30,000 miles, which is way earlier than most manufacturers suggest. They'll show you the dark fluid as proof, but that's just how fluid looks after normal use. One shop charged a customer $300 for a power steering flush when their manual clearly stated it wasn't due for another 60,000 miles. Research shows 70% of fluid flushes are done before they're actually needed. The solution is simple. Ask for proof. A legitimate shop can use a test strip or send a sample to a lab to check for contamination. If they can't provide that, walk away. Always check your owner's manual for the correct service interval. Most manufacturers list 2 schedules, one for normal driving and one for severe conditions. Shops often misuse the severe service recommendation to push flushes early. For example, a severe service schedule usually means frequent towing, extreme temperatures, or constant stop-and-go traffic. If you don't drive like that, you don't need the severe schedule. Some shops will even claim your fluid is burnt when it's just discolored. Real burnt fluid has a distinct smell and texture, not just a darker color. Another trick is the fluid exchange versus a flush. A flush forces all the old fluid out under pressure, which can sometimes damage older systems. An exchange just drains and refills what comes out naturally. Some shops charge for a flush, but only do an exchange. Always ask which service they're performing and why. You'll also see this scam with coolant, brake fluid, and differential fluid. The same rules apply. Check your manual, ask for proof, and don't fall for the dark fluid trick. If a shop insists it's urgent, get a second opinion before agreeing. Most fluids last much longer than shops claim, and replacing them too early is just a waste of money. Number 2, the check engine light trap. That orange check engine light comes on, and suddenly your mechanic says you need a $1,200 catalytic converter replacement. But here's what they're not telling you. That same light can trigger for over 100 different issues, from serious problems to something as simple as a loose gas cap. Shops know most people panic when they see that light, so they often jump straight to the most expensive possible diagnosis. One driver was quoted $800 for oxygen sensor replacement when the real issue was just a gas cap that wasn't tightened all the way. According to EPA data, only about 10% of check engine lights actually indicate serious problems. The rest are often minor issues or false alarms. Yet shops routinely use this light as an excuse to recommend unnecessary repairs. The easiest way to protect yourself is with a $20 OBD2 scanner. This tool plugs into your car's port, usually under the steering wheel, and reads the exact code causing the light to come on. Once you have the code, you can look it up online to see what it really means. For example, code P0455 usually just means your gas cap is loose or needs replacement. Code P0171 might indicate a vacuum leak, not a major engine issue. Some auto parts stores offer free code scanning, but be careful. They often use this as a chance to push their repair services. They might tell you the problem is worse than it really is. Even if they're honest about the code, they could still recommend unnecessary fixes. It's better to scan it yourself so you know exactly what you're dealing with before talking to a mechanic. Once you have the code, research it thoroughly before approving any repairs. Online forums and repair databases can tell you how urgent the issue really is. Some codes, like P0420 for catalytic converter efficiency, might seem serious, but could be caused by something much simpler. Other codes, like P0300 for random misfires, do need attention, but might not require the expensive fixes shops suggest. Mechanics count on people not knowing these codes. They'll often skip the diagnostic step and go straight to replacing expensive parts. Some will even clear the code without fixing anything, knowing it might take weeks or months for the light to come back on. That's why you should always get the code yourself before taking your car in. If a shop insists you need major repairs, ask them to explain exactly how they diagnose the problem. A legitimate mechanic will show you the code and walk you through their reasoning. If they can't or won't, that's a red flag. You should also ask if they checked for simple fixes first, like a loose hose or bad sensor connection. Some shops use scare tactics with check engine lights, telling you your car isn't safe to drive or could break down at any moment. While some codes do indicate serious issues, most don't. Unless your car is running rough overheating or showing other clear warning signs, you usually have time to get a second opinion. The check engine light doesn't have to be a mystery or a blank check for repairs. With a simple scanner and some research, you can know exactly what's wrong before a mechanic even looks at your car. That knowledge saves you from panic and prevents unnecessary bills. Number 3. The air filter deception. Your mechanic holds up a filthy air filter and tells you it needs immediate replacement. But here's what they don't tell you. That dirty filter might not even be from your car. Many shops keep a stash of used filters to show customers, claiming they're pulled from their vehicle when they're actually just props. Your real filter could still have thousands of miles left in it. A customer recently had this happen when a shop tried charging $80 for a new air filter. The problem was, they'd just replaced that same filter 2 weeks earlier. Under normal driving conditions, air filters typically last between 15,000 to 30,000 miles. Unless you're driving through extreme dust or pollution regularly, your filter shouldn't need replacing nearly as often as shops claim. The easiest way to avoid this scam is to check your filter yourself before taking your car in. Most air filters are easily accessible, usually under the hood in a rectangular box near the engine. Pop the clips or screws holding the cover, pull out the filter, and inspect it. Take a photo of its condition with your phone before the service. This gives you proof if the shop suddenly claims your clean filter is dirty. When examining your filter, look for even dirt distribution. Genuine dirt accumulation spreads relatively evenly across the filter surface. If you see dirt concentrated on just one side, or the filter looks unnaturally filthy, something's wrong. Some shops will rub dirt on filters to make them appear worse than they are. Others might swap your good filter with a dirty one from their stash. Another red flag is when shops claim your filter is clogged, but can't show you the actual filter from your car. Always insist on seeing the filter they removed before agreeing to replacement. If they refuse or make excuses, that's a clear warning sign. Some shops will say they already threw it away or that it's too dirty to handle. Don't accept these excuses. The price markup on air filters is another way shops take advantage. A basic filter costs about $15 at an auto parts store, but shops often charge $50 to $80 for the same part. Even with labor, replacing an air filter takes less than 5 minutes on most vehicles. There's no justification for the high prices some shops demand. You can also check your owner's manual for the manufacturer's recommended replacement interval. Most list specific mileage points or inspection guidelines. If a shop recommends replacement sooner than your manual suggests, ask them to explain why. Unless you drive in severe conditions, their recommendation is likely unnecessary. Some dishonest shops take this scam further by claiming a dirty air filter will damage your engine. While extremely clogged filters can reduce performance, it takes serious neglect to reach that point. A slightly dirty filter won't hurt anything and might actually filter better than a brand new one. Don't let them scare you into premature replacement. Number 4. The synthetic oil upsell. The car shop tells you your car needs synthetic oil, but here's the truth, it probably doesn't. Synthetic oil costs twice as much as conventional oil, yet 75% of cars run perfectly fine without it. One shop charged a customer $120 for synthetic when their owner's manual clearly specified conventional oil. Consumer Reports found no measurable benefit for most daily drivers using synthetic over conventional. The first thing you should check is your oil cap or owner's manual. These will tell you exactly what type of oil your car requires. If it says 5W30 conventional or something similar, that's what you need, not the expensive synthetic alternative. Some shops will claim synthetic is better for your engine, even when your manufacturer says conventional is fine. The reality is, synthetic oil is only necessary for high-performance engines or extreme driving conditions like constant towing or extreme temperatures. Another common tactic is shops claiming synthetic oil lasts longer. Here's the catch. They often still recommend changing it every 3,000 miles, the same interval as conventional oil. This makes the supposed longevity benefit meaningless. Your owner's manual will list the proper oil change interval, usually between 5,000 to 10,000 miles for modern cars, following the change interval that is more important than the oil type. Mechanics push synthetic because it's more profitable for them. The markup is higher, and they can charge more for the same basic service. Some will even claim your car runs smoother with synthetic, but that's subjective at best. Unless your manual specifically requires synthetic, Conventional oil meets all the manufacturer's specifications for normal driving. You might hear that synthetic oil protects better against engine wear. While technically true in lab tests, the difference is negligible for most drivers. Modern conventional oils have improved significantly and provide more than enough protection for average use. The only time synthetic makes sense is if you have a high-performance vehicle or frequently drive in severe conditions. Some shops will show you a dirty oil sample to justify synthetic. Know that all oil darkens with use. That's normal and doesn't mean it's no longer effective. Synthetic oil darkens too, just like conventional oil. The color change is from additives doing their job, not necessarily contamination. Unless you're getting an oil analysis done, visual inspection tells you very little. Another red flag is when shops claim switching to synthetic requires a special flush. This is completely false. You can switch between conventional and synthetic at any time without any special preparation. The idea that you need to prepare your engine is just another way to charge extra for unnecessary services. If your car is under warranty, some shops might claim using conventional oil could void it. This is only true if your manual specifically requires synthetic. Otherwise, using the correct weight and grade of conventional oil won't affect your warranty. Always check your manual rather than taking the shop's word for it. The price difference adds up over time. If synthetic costs $60 per change versus $30 for conventional, that's an extra $300 over 10 oil changes. For most drivers, that money could be better spent on actual necessary maintenance rather than an upgrade that provides no real benefit. Number 5, the brake pad scare tactic. Your mechanic tells you your brake pads are dangerously thin and need immediate replacement, but here's what they're not telling you. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration states pads only need replacing when they reach 3 millimeters of thickness. Many shops recommend replacement at 5 millimeters or more, trying to scare you into unnecessary service. One customer was quoted $400 for brake work when their pad still had 6 millimeters of material left, twice the minimum safe thickness. Brake pads wear down gradually, and most modern cars have wear indicators that make a squealing noise when replacement is actually needed. If you don't hear this sound and the shop claims your brakes are urgent, that's a red flag. The 3 millimeter threshold exists because below that point, the metal backing plate could damage your rotors. Above 3 millimeters, your brakes are still functioning safely. Always ask to see the actual measurement with a brake gauge or caliper. A legitimate mechanic will show you the tool they used and point out the exact thickness. If they refuse or make excuses, walk away. Some shops will claim they can't measure it without taking everything apart. This isn't true. Most brake pads can be measured visually or with simple tools while they're still on the car. Another trick is showing you a badly worn pad while claiming all your pads are like that. Brakes don't wear evenly. One pad might be at 2 millimeters, while others are at 5 millimeters. Ask to see measurements for all 4 wheels. Uneven wear could indicate other problems like stuck calipers, but doesn't necessarily mean all pads need replacement. Request your old pads back after replacement. This proves the work was actually done and lets you check the remaining thickness. Some shops charge for new pads but don't install them. If they say they threw the old pads away, that's suspicious. Legitimate shops keep removed parts until you approve disposal. The price difference between early and necessary replacement adds up. At $150 to $400 per axle, replacing pads at 5 millimeters instead of 3 millimeters could cost you an extra $600 to $800 over your car's lifetime. That's money wasted on perfectly good brake material. Some shops also push unnecessary rotor resurfacing or replacement. Rotors typically last through 2 to 3 pad changes unless damaged. Check your owner's manual for the manufacturer's recommended brake service intervals. Most list specific mileage points or inspection guidelines. If a shop recommends service sooner than your manual suggests, ask them to explain why. Unless you drive in severe conditions like constant stop and go traffic, the recommendation is likely premature. Some dishonest shops take this scam further by claiming your brakes are metal on metal. This is serious if true, but often exaggerated. You'd hear loud grinding noises when braking if metal was actually contacting metal. Don't take their word for it. Ask to see the pads yourself or get a second opinion. Another tactic is showing you brake dust as proof your pads are worn out. All brakes produce dust. It's normal and doesn't indicate wear level. The color might change as pads age, but dust alone isn't a reason for replacement. Only the actual pad thickness matters. Brake fluid flushes are another common upsell during brake service. Most vehicles only need this every 2 to 3 years, not every pad change. Check your manual for the correct interval. Many shops recommend it more frequently to increase the bill. Number 6. The phantom repair scam. The repair shop hands you an invoice for $600 worth of new struts. But here's the problem. Your old struts are still on the car. This is called a phantom repair, and the FTC estimates $2 billion is lost yearly to auto repair fraud, with phantom repairs being a huge chunk of that. It happens when shops charge for work they never actually performed, leaving your original parts in place while pocketing your money. The easiest way to catch this scam is to always ask to see the old parts that have been removed. Any legitimate shop will keep the old parts until you approve disposal. Some shops might show you generic old parts that aren't actually from your car. Look for identifying marks like your vehicle's grease or wear patterns that match your driving habits. Request before and after photos of the repair area. Any reputable shop will provide them if they refuse to take your business elsewhere. Photos prove the work was actually done and show the condition of components before and after service. Look for fresh tool marks on bolts and components that were supposedly replaced. New parts will have clean, unmarked fasteners, while original parts show wear from previous work. Review your invoice carefully for vague descriptions like adjusted components or system service. Demand specifics. What exact parts were replaced? Which components were adjusted? If they can't detail the work, dispute the charge. Your bank or credit card company will back you up. Some shops use generic codes that don't correspond to actual work performed. Compare the invoice to your owner's manual. Does the description match the manufacturer's recommended procedure? Check for other telltale signs of phantom repairs. New parts often have different coloring or markings than old ones. Freshly installed components won't have layers of road grime or corrosion. If you're suspicious, mark your parts with a tiny dot of paint before service. If the mark is still there afterward, the part wasn't replaced. Some dishonest shops will clean old parts to make them look new. Inspect for wear patterns that can't be washed away. Another tactic is charging for premium parts but installing cheap ones. Ask to see the boxes or packaging from the new parts. Verify the part numbers match what's on your invoice. Some shops keep empty boxes from previous jobs to show customers. Check the dates on packaging to ensure they're current. If possible, watch the work being done or ask to inspect the car on the lift before paying. Also, if a shop claims they replaced your water pump, but your coolant is still the old color and level, something's wrong. New parts often require fresh fluids. Ask to see receipts for these as well. Some shops charge for full fluid replacements, but only top off what's missing. Certain repairs leave obvious evidence. New brake pads come with clips and shims that old ones don't have. Fresh belts show no cracks or glazing. Replaced spark plugs have clean electrodes without carbon buildup. If you're not sure what to look for, research your specific repair online beforehand or bring a knowledgeable friend to inspect. Here's the most important rule to remember. Always get a second opinion before approving any repair. A trustworthy mechanic won't pressure you to decide immediately. Take photos of your odometer and parts before service to prevent phantom repairs. Understanding basic maintenance makes you a harder target for scams. Know when fluids actually need changing, what check engine codes mean, and how long parts should last. The more you learn about your car, the less likely shops can trick you. Keep your owner's manual handy and research repairs before agreeing. Simple precautions like these can save you thousands over your car's lifetime. Stay informed and never feel rushed into repairs. Scams only work when you're in the dark. So if this video helped you spot the red flags, hit like, share it with a fellow driver, and subscribe for more no-nonsense car tips.